In the previous unit, we created the soil database for Cedar Creek. In this unit, what we are going to do is we are going to take care of the null values that we have for soil code or the hydrologic group, and then we will convert that vector feature class into a raster. So before we do anything, let's go ahead and remove our join. So we will right click on cedar underscore soil underscore clip, go to join relates, and then say remove all joins and say yes. Then let's open the attribute table for cedar soil clip. So you can see all the fields that were joined from the component table are now removed, and this is the new field we added. If you sort the soil code field, you will see that there are lots of rows that have null values. So what we are going to do is we are going to see what soil group is dominant in Cedar Creek, and we will just replace the null values with the dominant soil group. So in order to do that, what we are going to do is we are going to symbolize the map to see our hydrologic soil group. So to do that, we will right click on Cedar soil clip, symbology, and then instead of single symbol, we are going to say unique values, and that those unique values are based on soil code. And this is what we will see. Now what happens when we do this is the outline for each polygon is sort of hiding the actual color of the map unit, so we can just click on each here and remove the outline color. So we can do that for all these. So we'll say outline color null or no color, and then apply. So what I'm doing is basically clicking on each color here and then changing the outline color to none. And once we zoom out now, you will see the actual soil map. So this is how the soil map looks, and what you will see is most of the soil hydrologic group in Cedar Creek is between C and D. So we can either change all the null values to C or D, so it's up to us. In practical cases, you may want to see where the null values are and look at the surrounding values and change that to the appropriate soil group. So in our case, just to keep it simple, what we will do is we will replace all null values with C. So what we will do is we'll open the attribute table, and then we can select all the soil code rows that show null. We can either do this manually, or you can use the selection tool, select by attributes. So let's do that. So input row soil clip, new selection, and expression is where soil code is null. Say run. So you can see 1861 rows out of 14,579 are null. So once those rows are selected, we can right click on soil code and calculate field, and we will say soil code is equal to C, and we can put that inside single quote. Enable undo, that's good, and say run. And now all our soil code is populated. Okay, so let's unselect or clear our selection. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to assign some numerical value to each soil code or hydrologic group. Eventually we want to process this as a raster, and the program will not understand A, B, C or D. Instead we will use 1, 2, 3 and 4 for A, B and C and D. You will also see that the soil group sometimes it's C or D or A or B or A or D. So what that means is that sometimes the soil may behave as A and sometimes it may behave as D, or sometimes it may behave as C or D as you see here, and as you go up or down you will see that it is either B or D or A or D and so on. So to keep it simple, what we are going to do is if the soil code begins with A, it is 1. If the soil code begins with B, it is 2. If the soil code begins with C, it is 3. If the soil code begins with D, it is 4. So let's create a new field called soil number. So let's save our edits, and then we will add a field and soil NU, and data type either long or short should work, but we know it is going to be 1, 2, 3 or 4, so we can just say short and save. And now let's select all the rows that begin with soil code equal to A or B or A or C. So as long as the soil code begins with A, we will select all those and assign the soil number as 1. So we will again use the select by attribute tool. So new selection expression is where soil code is equal to A. We will add another clause, or soil code is equal to A or D, and say run. And for all the rows that are selected, we are going to say soil NU is equal to 1. So right click on that, calculate field, soil NU is equal to 1, enable undo, run. Now let's clear the selection. Now let's do it for B. So we will do select by attribute again. So new selection expression, so where soil code is equal to B, add another clause, or soil code is equal to B or D, say run. And after all those rows are selected, We will say soil Nu is equal to 2. Run. Good. Let's clear the selection and let's repeat this for C and D. So select by attribute, so where soil code is equal to C, add another clause, or soil code is equal to C or D, run, and then soil Nu is equal to 3. So right click, calculate field, soil Nu is equal to 3, enable undo, run, and one last time. So clear selection, select by attribute, soil code, new expression, soil code is equal to D, run, and soil Nu, calculate field. So this is going to be 4, enable undo, run, and so the reason you are only seeing selected rows is because I have selected this option. If you select this option, you will see all rows, the one that are selected and also the one that are not selected. So let's clear the selection and sort our soil Nu, and you will see that all the map unit polygons now have a number based on the hydrologic soil group. If the soil group is A, we have 1. If it is B, if we have 2. If it is C, we have 3. If it is D, we have 4. So this finishes the vector part of raster processing. In the next unit, we will convert this vector into raster. So save your edits. Save your map, and this is it for this unit.